Hey everybody, this is Erica, and I'm going to be briefly discussing with you guys some of my thoughts and opinions about those who use offensive language and why they do so. And this is my Sadie. So if you see her randomly poke her head up like this, yes, it's a dog. It's not like a hairy leg or something. So I'm going to first talk to you guys a little bit about why people use aggressive language. Most of these people use aggressive language in terms towards others to get a feeling of superiority or to enforce that they are of a higher status than the individuals that differ from them. These individuals may be Sadie different than them in regards to race, gender, culture, economic status, social status, gender, sexual orientation, religion, so on and so forth. These people may not feel comfortable with their own cultural background, and that may be one of the reasons why they lash out at others. Or maybe they're doing so to compensate for a type of inferiority that they feel themselves. For example, the stereotypical bully that stands on the sidewalk out after school, and all the little kids know not to walk down that sidewalk because the bully's there and he will verbally abuse you and may even physically abuse you if you walk by his sidewalk. So they take the long way home. So these bullies, they get a feeling of empowerment. If they're capable of evoking an emotional response from another person and putting somebody else who's different from them down to upset them, then they get a feeling of, hey, you must look at me as stronger than you because I'm capable of hurting you. So it makes them feel better about themselves. There's a very high chance that that bully goes home at night and he gets picked on really bad by maybe an older brother or his father, and maybe he goes to high school all day and he's picked on really bad. So at the end of the day, he takes out his feelings of inferiority and victimization on others. And it's not right, but that's how this person has learned to compensate for his feelings of maybe I'm not strong enough or I'm not good enough, so I'm going to pick on you, you, and you just to make myself feel better. Other people may use offensive language in terms to kind of compensate for their own anxieties they feel when they're faced with the unknown. For example, maybe somebody has lived in a town their whole life and they haven't encountered somebody of a different race or ethnic group, so whenever they do so, they don't know how to react. So the way that they do react to the uncomfortable feelings that are associated with these foreign behaviors is negatively. They may make jokes about the person in order to put them down and make themselves feel more knowledgeable and make them feel more significant in the situation. However, they think they're getting positive attention out of making these jokes, but in reality, it's basically a defense mechanism for other people. They're not laughing with you, they're laughing because they can't believe what you just said, and they're covering up that anxiety that they're feeling within themselves by laughing. Maybe another type of thing is people use vulgar language around a certain group of friends because they know they can get away with it, but they would never use it in front of other people. No matter if they're joking or not, they know that deep down that language is offensive and they shouldn't use it. And they kind of use it as a shock value to get attention or maybe provoke a reaction out of somebody. I know, for example, at my school, some people use some terms that have been desensitized because they've been around it so often. Sorry if this offends anybody, but at my high school, whenever people were confronted with something negative or they didn't want to do, they would normally say, "That's gay." And they didn't mean it as in that's homosexual or associated it with anybody's sexual orientation. They would just say that's gay because they've learned to correlate that with something negative that they didn't want to do. And it wasn't right, and people knew deep down that that's gay could hurt people because they would never say that around somebody who was homosexual, and they would never say that around somebody that, for example, like their grandma. But they still used it around people that they knew wouldn't hurt their feelings because that's what they were accustomed to. As a counselor, I think it's our responsibility to not only educate the public. Oh my gosh, my dog's like getting really hyper and she's just running around really fast for no reason. I think it's our job to educate not only our clients and our family members about offensive language and its negative effects on people, but also to educate the public and reach out to them. I don't think people realize how small-minded and ignorant they sound whenever they make fun of things they don't understand. And it's just very hurtful. People don't realize how offensive these words can be and the meanings behind them and the oppression associated with them. What some person would say to me, I may not find offensive at all. But if that same thing is said to somebody else, that it may evoke an emotional reaction, and it could really hurt people, and it can make them feel like lesser people, and I don't believe anybody should have that control over another human being to make them feel as less of a person. So that's all I can really think of right now. If you guys have any questions or any comments, please let me know. Thanks, guys, and have a wonderful day. It's super nice outside.